My topic of discussion is inflation and its types. We all might have heard this word time and again thrown at us by economists and political commentators when speaking about the economy. But have you ever wondered what is it and why does it occur? Milton Friedman says inflation is the one form of taxation that can be imposed without legislation. To put it bluntly, inflation is a sustained and overall rise in the general price level. So, why does it occur? Inflation is triggered by a general increase in the demand for goods and services relative to their supply, or by a general fall in the supply of goods and services related to their demand. It goes without saying, too much of anything is good for nothing. On a very general outlook, there are three different types of inflation: demand pull inflation, cost push inflation, and built in inflation. Speaking about demand pull inflation, when the demand for goods or services exceeds the existing output levels in the economy, the result is demand pull inflation. The cause of an increase in demand could be increased exports, a rise in household and firm spending, increased government purchases, and or due to central bank operations. If you are buying coffee from your favorite coffee house, even though the price is uncomfortably high, you are engaging in a demand pull inflation. The second type is cost push inflation. This is also called supply shock inflation. To understand this, let's dial our clocks back to 1970s. Little more than a decade after the establishment of OPEC in 1960s, prices of crude oil shot up steeply due to Arab oil embargo and later again due to the Iranian revolution of 1979. The regulation of oil supplies by OPEC and the resultant rise in petroleum prices from $3 to $40 per barrel by 1979 led to a major increase in the cost of production in all industries which use petroleum as a source of energy. This led to a sudden supply shock, and the sustained shortage of crude oil thereafter resulted in what is called a cost push inflation. This leads to lowering of output and employment rate. And this is also called as stagflation sometimes. The third type is the built-in inflation. As demand and cost push inflation occur, employees in a firm may start asking for a rise to their employer. If the employers don't keep their wages competitive, they could end up with a labor shortage. So, if a business raises workers' wages and tries to maintain the profit margin by raising the prices of their products, that's built in inflation. Finally, I would like to end this video with a case study. I want to talk about the German hyperinflation. After the end of First World War in 1918, Germany was required to make war reparations payment to France and Britain, amounting to hundreds of billions of German marks. Germany was a war-ravaged economy and could not have made arrangements for the reparations immediately. It would either have to default and or pay for reparations by printing money. To recover the reparations, France captured Ruhr, the industrial province of Germany. German workers adopted a method of passive resistance by not working in the factories, though Germany continued to pay their wages. As a result, the printed money that was paid as reparations and the wages for no work in Ruhr created a demand for goods and services for which there was no corresponding output in the market. The end result was hyperinflation. From 1922 to 1923, the average inflation exceeded 3,000%. Think about it. A loaf of bread that cost about 160 marks in 1922 was priced at about 1.5 million marks in September 1923, and it further rose in leaps and bounds by the end of 1923. This phenomenon of hyperinflation, an extreme form of demand pull inflation, is captured by an economic postulate called the quantity theory of money. This postulate is popularly described by this equation that goes as follows: MV is equal to PY, where M is the money supply in the economy, P is the price level or the index prevailing in a given period of time. Y is the level of output in the economy. V is the velocity of money in the economy. It refers to the average number of times a unit of currency is used in a given period of time. So, uh, the right hand side of the equation shows that P times Y is nothing but the current or nominal GDP as nominal GDP. If the velocity of money is V to carry out transaction related to the PY level of the GDP, each unit of M will be used V times during a given period. So now it is easy to see that if V and Y are constants, an increase in money supply M will only lead to an increase in price level P. This is exactly what happened in Germany in the early 1920s. A substantive increase in the money supply to pay for war reparations and wages without production led to a substantive increase in the price level alone. For the output in the economy was held almost constant in relation to the gigantic increase in the money supply. This was a classic case of too much money chasing too few goods. Of course, by the end of 1923, the workers were asked to go back to work and row. A new currency, the Reichsmark, was introduced to replace the old German mark. War reparations were rescheduled with more realistic annual targets, and the US government also extended loans to Germany. These measures helped eventually to eliminate hyperinflation and bring in a new form of political climate in Germany, which led to the World War II and the horrors that we all know. With this, I end this video. Thank you.